Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am half of your hosts. That make any sense? I guess so. I am Rach Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, and with me, as every Saturday night, is none other than my wife, Rachel.
Hello.
So we have a few things to cover, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe first off, we have the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, so that's not a fiasco going on right there, but that was a whole thing with our pub closing, trying to get that uh, catering set up and organized.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, hello, Shadow and Son, Don.
Don,
Good to
Shadow.
see you both. Um, so I thought I would start with yes, happy Thanksgiving. I figured I would start talking about the fact that today is the first day since Sunday where I've been able to take stairs as a normal man again. Last Sunday we went to see the Giants play the Texans at MetLife Stadium out there in New Jersey.
East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yes, and the seats. I don't think there are any bad seats
No.
at MetLife.
I was amazed at how much you could see.
Yeah, I mean these were Thank God it wasn't this week. This week is really cold.
Yeah, oh my God. I would have died.
But so last week we were there. We were the fifth row from the top. There were 4 rows behind us, and you got there. It's a walk. You got to. It wasn't a bad walk because we got dropped off by a shuttle from a local bar and
Sports
restaurant.
bar, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's $10 a head, so you can park there, and then they shuttle you. That was convenient, not having to park it,
Which was great because you pay $10 a head.
Yeah.
To park the car, and then, while people, I don't know, I'm sure other people have stadium pricing, but to park at the stadium is like $85 for even like the farthest spot away.
Yeah.
So it's like almost the price of the ticket.
Yeah. So it was a good game. Hey, Giants won.
Yeah.
And that was all happy duty. So when we left, I suppose when we got there were escalators going upstairs. There weren't any escalators going upstairs. So now, not only did we have these really steep stairs where the seating was, then we had to take stairs down to the ground level at the speed of the crowd, not the speed of Tenkar, but the speed of the crowd. And then, walking almost at the speed of the crowd, you had 2 pedestrian overpasses. The first one was really long and tall. Going across.
Wait, we had
highway.
2?
There was 2 of them.
Just one of them.
No, there was 2, Rach.
Oh, I guess the one was just that tunnel thing.
Yeah, but there were 2. Which you had to climb up at the speed of the crowd, cross, and then go down the speed of the crowd. And by the time I got to the second one, my leg wasn't feeling great. My left leg was really feeling like wiggly. And yes, Don, $85 for parking. Good God. So, and then the shuttle. Now, the shuttle is basically one of those those small school buses.
Yeah, the mini bus. The short bus.
The short bus.
We were on the short bus.
And I didn't get my helmet, and I probably should have because I was standing. Which, by the way, as I stated at the end, we went with 2 friends from our local pub. That if I ever say I want to go on a roller coaster, and Rachel knows me, for the rest of my life, she can just remind me of that little bus. We were in the back, and my head brushed the ceiling like 3 times.
Oh yeah, because there were some speed bumps.
Oh my God! Oh. And I thought that I can ride the subways. I can do subway surfing. I should have a problem. Oh my God! I don't know if that I wanted to kiss the ground. I was like, oh my God, out. I think you saw me. I ran out on the moment.
You were ready. Yeah,
I'm out. I can't.
Well, I had the guy in front of me. He was like, had a rock to get up. So I was like, let me not interrupt his momentum and cut them,
Yeah.
like so.
But and then after that, there was still about a quarter-mile walk to the car because I was amazed at how many parking facilities this bar had. That was somehow.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, wait a second. We just walked through like 3 parking lots, crossed the street, and now we're in another parking lot. So I figured, all right, I'll be okay. Drive home was like a lot of traffic, about an hour and a half. And I woke up the next morning to, oh my God. And it was my calves were part of the issue, but it was my glutes and my thighs. And it would get to the point that first my left leg was like shot. My right leg was painful. So we went out to our new watering hole, Gibbons home, on Tuesday night, and so our friends we went to. It's like,
And Eric was like, I must confess.
I must confess.
And they were like, oh my God, really?
Yeah, it's like I go.
Me too. I wondered why my thought.
But no, that me too is bullshit. That's like saying.
Aww.
It's like saying, oh man, I broke my arm. Me too. No, you didn't, man. You just fell and skimmed your shoulder.
What they were saying, that
it's like because I would walk and they'd be like, yeah, I saw like Michelle's expression was like, is he okay?
Where is he?
Yeah, is he okay? Is he gonna make it back from the bathroom? Like it was sitting up. Was the whole? Whenever I sat up, it was always, do I really need to sit up? Or
to sit up?
To sit up and stand. Sorry, sit up and stand. To get out of my seat was always making a deal with myself for those first couple of days.
Yeah.
So then yesterday I saw a noticeable improvement. I was like, hey, I can lift my leg over the doggy gate.
It takes a while when you overexert.
It takes a while when you're an old fuck too.
Well, no, I had that habit. I had to come down 15 floors from a yoga class because like they had a fire alarm go off and we were on the 15th floor, and so the fire alarm goes off. We're waiting for announcements to tell us what to do. Like you expect to hear, like, because you're on the 15th floor, like to shelter in place or wait for further instructions. And you just sort of not minded and kept going. But we didn't hear anything, and nobody was answering the phone at the front desk. So we all
ran out.
Went down the stairs.
I'm out of here.
Oh
Goodbye.
My God, I was hurting for the next several days.
Yeah,
and my quads.
Yeah, so today is like.
But I didn't have that this time because I've been working out.
Yeah. But
I got abused the day before. You did.
But I actually had like my left quad was actually painful to the touch in a lot of points. I don't have that now. So I survived my my trip to see the Giants. Again, great game. Best thing we did, I think, though, in addition to having the parking at that Reds pub, or what do they call it, Reds bar?
I think they just call it Reds.
Reds. Was that you could basically eat
or beer
drink.
garden.
Reds Beer Garden. You could eat and drink beforehand, and that meant that you didn't have to pay. You were paying prices at like it's like I guess like a Manhattan bar prices, but
yeah, it was that way.
Yeah, but the thing is, you weren't paying stadium prices. I heard the prices for that food.
It's not that great in the stadium. The food.
Well, it's better than it used to be. Oh yeah, they you go to Citi Field and the Yankee Stadium. There's high end food being served.
Oh,
but you're paying like, what you would go would be you would blink if you saw the price in like a regular restaurant and go, oh my God, $30 for that. But at the stadium, it's probably like 45.
Yeah. Hell no.
He like, for food, I got to bring back to my fucking seat and sit out in the weather. No, I don't think so. So
just give me a pretzel, I'll be happy.
Give me a pretzel, I'll be happy. I wouldn't fight it that much.
You don't need to charge 45.
You don't need to charge 45 for a pretzel.
You just don't.
But actually, at pretzel, how much was a pretzel? Like $15, right?
I didn't quite notice.
Yeah, it was expensive. I thought that was the reason why you didn't order a pretzel.
Oh no, I didn't want to
Yeah, I was like maybe like $12. Like I'm sorry, I
just
can't.
eat.
I
Well, I'm
can't
sure it came
justify.
with lovely dipping sauce.
Your pretzel
that
cheese.
beer cheese.
You need your beer cheese. I give you a special beer cheese just for you. So, so that was what the update from last weekend. It was really kicking my ass right through now. Done. Tiger Stadium, a hot dog and a pretzel will set you back $20. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and that's. I actually hate to say it. That's probably not that I've gone to a movie theater since prior to COVID, and we didn't stop because of COVID. We stopped because the prices were ridiculous, and if I was going to
Well,
pay,
we stopped because we just didn't have fun at it,
yeah,
because we were always planning, like, so if the shooter comes in from there,
yeah,
because
it
you
was
were still
what,
working the last time we went to the
yeah,
films, and so he'd be like, if the shooter comes from there, you take Shannon and run that way and hide over there,
it
and
was,
I'll go
yeah,
this way, and
active,
so we just never really went back
uh,
after we
yeah,
had to
active shooter
feel like we had to make that
situations were
plan.
very prominent in my mind as I was leaving the job because um, the way policy had always been for off duties, if you were off duty, that's when I was employed, but you were an off duty member of the service, police officer for the NYPD. By the way, either we have a moth or we had an angel fly by my head. Um, but
Uh-oh.
yeah, I'll take the angel because the moth would skeeve me out. But the idea always was your responsibility was to be the best witness possible. They discouraged you from getting involved, generally off duty. Not that you couldn't if life was, in jeopardy, uh, but they preferred you to be the one that was going to call 911 and be the best witness you could be. And about a month before I retired, we get an interim order, which basically says it's an update to our orders, a patrol guide order. It has all the enforcement behind it of the PC, but it's not in the book yet. And it was an interim order, and it basically changed our active shooter protocols for off-duty members of the service. And before it went from be a witness to um, engage the target. And I was like, what? They're telling me and my officers, my detectives, to engage the target off duty. And I saw that and I had to do a training on it. And when I did the training on it with my officers to update them on the new protocols, I was like, all right, well, listen, this is what the interim order says. And now I'm going to put that into real life for you. And I said, in real life, if you are in an active shooting or active shooter situation, you're likely out there with family,
Yeah.
at least friends. You're probably not out there on your own, but you're going to be out there with people that you have responsibility for. And as much as you have a responsibility to the job, you have a responsibility to your family, especially. Trumps that. So before you engage an active shooter, I go, you have to evaluate the best method, the best means to get your family, your friends to safety or put them in a safer position. Now, I think that might be where you are. It might mean that you step away 15 feet and then actively engage the shooter. It might mean retreating with your family, getting into a safe spot, and then returning to engage the shooter. But you do not just wantonly engage this individual before making sure your family, your friends, the people
Right,
that you
not to act in a reckless way.
right. Like I said too, and this was important is that when you're off duty, you're not wearing a vest. When you're off duty, especially in my case, I was wearing my my 5-shot revolver. I didn't have my 15 plus 1 rounds. But when you're on duty, you have 15 plus 1 and 2 reloads. So you got a total of 46 rounds on you. I said, you're off duty. What you have on you is all you have. You don't have a radio. And when the cops come, the uniform cops come, they're not going to know you from a hole in the wall. They're going to think you are quite likely another active shooter. So all these things had to get drilled into my officers by detectives so they would understand what was going on. It was just that it was that time frame. That was late 2015, early 2016. So Yes, happy Thanksgiving. Shout out to we just got back from our local gun show today. We bought helmets.
Oh wow.
Uh, NYPD issued.
What is it like to go to a gun show?
I've never been to one, so
Yeah, we don't have that.
we, we don't have them things here
We don't
in
have.
New York.
Yeah, we don't have a culture like that. Where like maybe not culture, but that ability.
Well, there were
Maybe
gun.
upstate, do they
Well,
have
maybe
it?
probably. I doubt it after
The Safe Act, right?
well, not just at the Safe Act after the updated act. Like, hey, look, New York State's laws are unconstitutional. For and not getting into politics here, but New York State law for concealed carry was declared unconstitutional. So the solution that was enacted real quickly without much public discussion was to pretty much make every place illegal
A
for
gun-free
a
zone.
gun-free zone.
Mm.
Doesn't apply to retired officers, but it applies to the general citizens who may, or in this case, would have a carry permit. So I suspect that more stuff will be struck down as unconstitutional. But
Sure.
um, Don, we have them in Michigan. Literally everything and anything is there: ammo,
Really
military arms, etc. Yep. So
interesting.
the closest I
And
got,
you have a freedom to be able to buy it.
you have the freedom to be able to buy it. You still have to go through a background check.
Hmm.
So it's it isn't
I guess it's not what they say. Like, oh, you can get anything you want without.
without a check. No,
Yeah.
there's still policies now.
Okay.
Um, do I disagree with like certain states, like New York State, wanting people who want a concealed carry permit to have to go through a certification course? I don't have a problem with
I
that,
think that's probably good for everybody.
and I'll say why I don't have a problem with that. And I know the political argument is uh, your possession of a firearm is protected by the Second Amendment. Your ability to drive is not a it's not a right. It's a privilege. I understand that, and I know it's a little bit of apples to oranges, but it's still a car is a dangerous instrument. Okay, car put in the hands of somebody who is not well trained um, can kill,
Mhm.
and is quite likely to cause damage, either property damage or damage to an individual, or worse, without proper training. And my son's fiance is going for her license, and I've taken her driving
Mhm.
last 2 weekends. I'll probably take her again tomorrow. And you take she's taking lessons. She's getting time behind the wheel with me. She's getting time behind the wheel with a family friend uh, to get her to the point where she's ready for it. And I know that yes, I have fired thousands of rounds through the NYPD and through our academy, and I have tens of thousands of hours of driving. And I was honestly not a great driver until I became a cop. And the reason was because you drove every day to and from work and every day at work. Usually you drove every other day because you were swapping with somebody else at work. And you were driving vans, and you were driving prisoner wagons, the bread truck, or you were driving a patrol car. And the patrol car was three different brands and three different models. So you learn to drive different stuff. And you learn the stuff instinctually, and I'm trying to teach her the instinctual stuff that she's not getting taught by her driving instructor. I'm trying to show her the process. Like last week after we went driving, and I took her to a local cemetery because I figured less traffic and you're not going to kill anybody. Um, there's a joke in there, but after the lessons and when she first started, she was really nervous and it was awkward and got better. But the one thing I was trying to really drill into her was her turns. She was either making them too short or she was making them too wide. I was trying to and I was explaining it to her when she was driving. It's what you got to adjust. And I said, you know what? When I was driving back to the house, I said, you know what? Pay attention. And I did something. She goes, you made that turn too short, too Yeah, I go, exactly. She goes, that's what I do, isn't it? I go, yes. Or you do this. And I followed up and did that a couple of times. And she went, you know, my instructor would say that to me, but I didn't have a way to visualize it. But now I can actually see it because I see you doing that shit. I'm like, well, that's the point. So today, when we started out, I felt like she was starting out at where we ended last week. It wasn't like there was a regression. She was pretty confident, and she was getting her spatial feel, which again is instinctual. And I had her driving around this little, like, basically traffic circle in the
Yeah, that was cute.
because she needed to get a feel for how the car turns. And once you find your angle, you don't have to adjust much. And I was, and she had to find it out. And she's like, I go around again. I go around again, go around again, go around again. I made her do.
And then we couldn't find the way back to it.
Yeah, well, that was true. It's getting dark.
To do the other side.
We started too late. And that was a problem because the sun was setting. And the winter sun is a pain in the ass. Oh, my God. All right, so let's go. Let me catch up on the comments here. At Alice's restaurant, except for Alice. All right, you can get everything here. Those kids. Yes. Oh my God. And I understand that they released the driver because they I don't know why.
They released him.
Yeah, released him because
they were just like, okay, oops.
Well, no, it's California Highway Patrol. The way it's being done out in God's country, in California, is that the sheriff's department is not doing the investigation. The investigation is being done by the Highway Patrol. It's basically their state police.
Oh, because it's their territory.
Well, I guess
jogging.
Well, no, but I suspect it's because you're trying to take away the idea of impropriety in the investigation.
I see.
So, like, the sheriff's department may be biased and say this mother effer drove through 25 cadets and sent like 2 dozen to hospitals.
Yeah, I don't know how you would just get released from that.
Yeah, I don't
Unless there was some sort of medical condition that contributed to it.
By the way, Rachel is playing with my balls, my magnetic balls. She can't help. She has her own set, but she's.
I don't bring it over here.
Yeah, no. I take Eric's designs and I play with Eric's design to mess them all up.
I don't do that.
It's okay. North Carolina, Mr. Gunn, North Carolina's background check laws state that for private long gun sales, a background check is not required. Okay. I mean, listen, in New York State, it's going to get to the point, I'm sure, where if I, want to order a new holster for my Smith & Wesson, I'm going to probably have to, like, get a background check done and get it cleared to the department. And, I don't know. It's bizarrely restrictive. However, for the private sales of a handgun, a pistol purchase permit issued by the sheriff in the county where the firearm is bought, or a concealed handgun permit issued by the state is required. Okay. See, for a private purchase even in New York State, I still there. See, I'm not sure what the new law. It used to be you could still, if it's a private purchase, and it wasn't in New York City because it was going from one. New York City, I think, is the only jurisdiction in the state that actually listed your firearms on the back of your permit. And if you can't.
Oh, so if you have something else,
it's not covered.
It's not. It's good. Yeah. You're not licensed for that.
Yeah. I know the SFB is walking around scot free. I don't know. I have an issue with it, but then again, stop means slow to observe for police. Well, I get in this case again. I was stunned when I tend to read a local police bulletin board. It's got more than local police. It has police from throughout the country, but it's mostly NYPD. So probably more of us anyway. And when I saw that come up on the feed, I was like, "Oh my God, I could not believe it."
That's crazy.
Yellow light means go faster. I've seen that one. I've
Yeah,
seen,
yeah.
and honestly, in New York City, it often does mean that because if you got a yellow light, it means you might get caught by the red light camera. It might be time to speed up to get through the intersection. Uh, yes. Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. It's a Thanksgiving tradition. I'm sure we'll be hearing it
Oh.
on one of the XM channels pretty soon, if not already. Don, can't complain about that. I mean, if they are magnetic, then it's kind of like a bonus. I mean, these are you couldn't find these for a couple of years, right? Because they had
Because the children were ingesting them
because
somehow.
right, and
they'd be
those
showing up on X-ray and seeing the
yeah,
kids'
and the ones that you found
stomachs and intestines.
and the ones you found like I don't know 10, 15 years ago were always like either silver or black, and now you can get you can get all the colors. They
The
look like
rainbow.
they look like really small Skittles, and I'm not encouraging anybody. I'm just
No, Skittles aren't shiny or metallic,
Thank you, Rach.
so nobody can get confused.
Ruin the good joke. Ruin the good joke.
Wasn't
Thank you. Thank you. This is a successful marriage, folks. Painfully truthful. Tom, Maine is a constitutional carry, but there are still federal background checks. That makes sense. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Give unto local authorities what is local authorities. Tabletop tapper from Tom. Hey, yep, done. Mr. Gunn, I kid about stop signs. Well, my father always talks about the Hollywood stop where you kind of coast to the corner and slow down. And that was the other thing I was showing my son's fiance today because she was doing these really long
stairs in both directions
and then going, and it's like by the time you've done that long stair,
and I was like, I don't do that crossing the street. I'm like this.
Yeah, I go, Case, you gotta head on the swivel. You gotta, and you continue going with the head on a swivel as you're making that turn, because even coming back, after a stop sign, I made my left. I didn't see somebody crossing the intersection. I almost, but for the grace of God and my quick foot and twist of the wheel, I could have clipped somebody. Wouldn't have been very fast, thank God. But so you always have to be aware when you're driving. In Michigan, we are an open carry state. You can openly carry any type of firearm, including AR type weapons, as long as you're not concealing them.
Okay.
So this is something that most
like
Pennsylvania is similar. However, Pennsylvania states pretty much the following: it's an open carry state with the exception of Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
Oh, it's like New York.
Yeah, Philadelphia is like New York. It's like an entity within itself. So the open carry does not cover Philly. And the open carry does not carry over to your vehicle. Your vehicle is considered concealment. So I can walk down the street in front of my house in the Poconos, in theory, with my firearm out in full view, which in what time it's going to be hard to do because I'd have to leave my jacket open, but could do it. But the moment I sat down behind the wheel of my car, it's now concealed. I understand. It makes sense in its own warped logic. It makes sense. And it does mean that people can't drive around with a concealed weapon. Now, theoretically, you could take the weapon, lock it in your trunk, and then drive to your location and then come back out and strap it on, I guess. But, there you go. Tom, we're good. It's Tammy's birthday tomorrow, but that means she controls the remote control tonight. Secret is I always control the remote control. I'd be glad to give it up, but I always control it. Just I see, like when we talk about hunters and gatherers, if we have those discussions, I am certainly of the hunter type, but go move. Rach is the gatherer, and you'll see this when we go shopping a lot of times. She's gotten much better. I will say this, and I think she's gotten better because, well, especially food shopping now, we don't gather. We don't want to gather food. We want to hunt for the food that we have on our mental list,
Right.
and we don't want to be distracted by stuff that isn't on it. So that's changed Rachel's shopping experience. Even when we go to like large stores, like what's it, Marshalls and stuff.
Mhm.
You've become less of a gatherer. Like
Mm.
you're like a multi-class. You're like a hunter gatherer. So you don't
Okay.
spend as much time there just gathering. So uh okay. Yeah, and Tom says in Maine they call that a California stop.
Ah, like
A-
the Hollywood.
and apparently
Uh-huh.
Tammy is drinking wine, I guess.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Scariest place I ever drove was New Jersey. Yikes. All right, so
Jersey is very scary. I don't
uh
even know how to drive, but it
yeah,
is.
Jersey we used to refer to it as the Jersey Weave. As a New Yorker, listen, New Yorkers will drive fast, but New Yorkers tend to drive fast in one lane. New York assholes may actually tailgate you, but New Jersey, they generally don't tailgate you. What they do is they will wiggle and jiggle throughout traffic and often put their turn signal on after they've made their lane change. So, um, I've gotten to the point where, and I drive in Jersey a frequent amount going to the Poconos. I've gotten to the point, or we just have Jersey drivers in New York City, where I can usually sense a driver, not necessarily New Jersey, but somebody's going to be doing a Jersey weave. You kind of get the feeling because that's the car that it's always like, it isn't, it has a little wiggle to it because they're always looking for that option to, am I going to go left? Am I going to go, am I going to change lanes? So it's never the car that's looking like they're driving relaxed. They're always looking like they're driving to save a minute, maybe. I don't know. Tammy, 54 trips around the sun tomorrow. You're a
Aw,
youngin' still.
happy, happy.
I got my 55. So, uh, Ken Whitman,
Oh,
welcome. Yes, we do this on a weekly basis, and part of what we do is we talk about stuff that is related to gamers' health, obviously, our own personal health struggles,
yeah.
those of our friends and family, and people get to share about that. And then we try to throw out some universal advice, I guess I could say.
Right.
Uh, yes, Tom, Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. Why would you need to carry a firearm? Well,
It's very brotherly
you know,
there.
New York is a city that never sleeps, right? Why would you need to carry a firearm? Oh, I already said why. Uh, Michigan, we have restraints on places like schools, vehicles, stadiums, churches, and businesses.
Yes.
Can place a sign on the door, barring them also. Well, here's the New York state law actually says businesses have to put up a sign allowing them, or else the presumption is you're not allowing them. They also said cemeteries. The churches one I think actually got overruled already
Oh,
by
really?
yeah,
Mm.
and there's a reason why, and
Mm.
it is because in my I guess my initial 6 years as a police officer when I was a PO, I spent a lot of the Jewish holy days as a house of worship car. And a house of worship car is usually set outside, even in the South Bronx. I know it might sound surprising. We had two synagogues in our precinct. They were old synagogues. They were around since the late 1800s, and they had small congregations, but they both got a house of worship car.
Mm.
And that was a 24-hour detail. So it was man to man, which meant that you had that post. The only place you could go when you had that post would be inside the synagogue if you had to use the facilities. And then your relief was another car coming to relieve you at the end of your 8 hours. Um, so I could understand why it got overruled in New York State that you couldn't have these restrictions in a house of worship because a lot of these Jewish synagogues, especially, have armed security,
Yes.
and that was preventing the armed security.
Oh, yeah. Especially in Manhattan. The
So,
places where we go for the Fegs Hanukkah party.
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because that was under terrorist threat like many, many times.
Yeah. So that stuff is huge. Tom went fishing in Alaska with my brother, and he armed me with his wife's 9mm for the bears, and I forgot I was wearing it. that went into the liquor store.
Oh.
Not issuing a liquor store. Apparently, you're allowed anywhere in Alaska with a gun except bars and banks. Yeah, actually, I didn't notice this until I don't know. I was a cop for like 10 years. Even in New York City, there are some banks that say that there are no firearms allowed. It's like I guess they realize that there are a handful of people who can actually be armed. So, uh, Don, Mr. Gunn, if you think Jersey is scary, try driving down Michigan Avenue and 6 Mile Road in Detroit. You need an APC to make it alive. Yeah, but you're not.
Hey, that's not too far from where Eminem grew up on 8 Mile.
8 Mile. See,
Yeah.
Lyles, I think the part of the problem is, I think a lot of your roads are in disrepair out there by Detroit because the city has been broke for the last.
But I think they're trying to make it come back in certain places. Maybe not by the
doesn't
mile
like
streets, but
doesn't Detroit have like deer living in the city?
They did have coyotes.
All right. Worst driver.
That's what I heard. But then again, we had coyotes by Columbia, so.
Well, true.
we
can't say much. And we have deer in Staten Island. And I only know that because I had a lieutenant who went bow hunting in Staten Island. I think the statute of limitations is passed. I can talk about that. The venison chili was delicious. But I was like...
Never ate a deer.
You have to remember, too, Staten Island is closer to New Jersey than it is to the rest of New York City. And
even the deer didn't like New Jersey.
Yeah, it's even...
Let's go over this river, man. We can do it.
Let's swim.
We'll learn how to swim.
Swim to... I don't believe that hunting of any kind is allowable in the confines of the 5 boroughs, but
okay.
I don't believe. But I don't know. Catching up here. Don's right behind me. In December, Don hits 55 trips. There you go.
Nice.
Tammy, we are well matched. After watching a movie about David Copperfield, the book, we have been watching a series on drug smuggling and getting caught. Oh, well, that's always... The getting caught part is the exciting part, right? You know, our our former bartender, now just part of the refugee club at our new bar. She likes her serial killer.
True crime of any type.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of people love true crime. It wouldn't be so available. People didn't eat it up.
True. Mr. Gunn, which Howard Gaines, I've driven in Detroit. It is scary, but New Jersey was frightening. Yeah, but you know, there are certain like roads like in New York City. If you want people that are going to drive excessively, aggressively scary, Cross Island Parkway in New York City. And the Cross Island Parkway, actually,
Cross Island, really?
Cross Island
That's the scariest.
Is the scariest.
Oh,
it's up there with it's up there with nothing else, because there are roads and there are like little narrow highways in like the Bronx that are people drive fast.
Mm-hmm.
Cross Island wiggles. It's not a straight highway, and actually a point it goes into Nassau County and then back into Queens County. So it goes out of the city, into the city, out of the city, into the city. And you're like...
That's not the one we take to go to Ortho.
No. That is not the one we take to Ortho. That is... oh, God, I know it when I see it. But, Clearview. Yeah, being able to see it. It's like, man, Clearview? I don't know. That's one of the short ones.
Yeah, they're different. Okay.
Yeah. You have not driven till you have driven in Dublin, Ireland. That was a cabbie Tom had in Middenhall, England. I can believe this. Anybody driving on the wrong side of the street is a place
My
where...
dad drove in Dublin and all around Ireland. And he was new to driving stick. And it was very scary. I mean, I was still able to fall asleep on my mother's lap, but I just would,
Mhm.
continue to like remember and just like keep bracing myself
See,
in my sleep because
see,
it was always like boom, 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 boom.
my issue with driving stick is that I don't drive stick. Not that I haven't driven stick, mind you, because there are times when you make an arrest and a person was driving stick, and the only person to drive the car back is the man who doesn't drive stick. And the question you always heard as the person purpose being brought back to the patrol car, he knows how to drive stick, right? Oh yeah, he's an expert at it.
There goes the clutch.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
Isn't that always the thing?
yeah,
The clutch.
yeah. Don, Detroit has large areas that are literally abandoned. The deer go into those areas. There are no people
Oh,
and
you're
no
right.
hunting. Damn, my memory is good. I think we saw that like a 10-year-old
Yeah.
Crowder video.
Crowder.
The roads in Michigan are bad because of the salt and freeze thaw. Same in New York City. We get a lot of that. The Poconos used to get less of that because they didn't usually use that much salt. They always used coal ashes. They would plow and then they would put down coal ashes. And now, I guess because a lot of the schools are not using all the coal they used to. Like when I was a kid, New York City, my local public school ran on coal.
Really?
Oh yeah, I remember them dumping the coal, and it was awesome. You'd see them dump the coal in the big chute, and it would just all come out and go right into the basement or the sub basement. But at least in the Poconos, the local governments were using that as a salt replacement to give you traction on the ice and snow. But now that salt is going on, now there's a lot more potholing going on up there. Venison is delicious. Tom says, it was good and chili. I will say that. I am not going to say.
Well, it's such a. I would have guessed that it's a very strong flavored meat that you'd need a lot of spice to stand up to it.
Yeah. Yes. Mr. Gunn, there are huge fallow areas where there were once neighborhoods, then abandoned houses, then open fields.
Wow.
It goes to show you too that we are
the land reclaiming the city, like it could be us.
Yeah, we shouldn't get too high and mighty because when we pass as a species, as a race, or we abandon areas,
or even that town like that your sister wrote the book about, and they had that. We saw that thing on recently.
Oh yeah,
Centralia.
That these once these houses are abandoned and then they are if they're cleared out, maybe you find foundation left, but maybe you find the remains of a driveway, with very little hints that these things
the sidewalks have been taken back.
Yeah, Don, it's surreal in some of those areas, but the past few years have been a push to develop those areas and also bring microchip making in instead of car making, and that would be interesting. And that would also allow us as a country, as a nation, to no longer be such so required dependent, on foreign nations, especially Taiwan, and that affects geopolitical politics. I'm sure they're not going to be very happy about that. Tom, 9 years of catering driving in Boston, and I rarely, if ever, broke the speed limit, and I still delivered 99% on time. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't break the speed limit in New York City anymore. Well, yes, you can, but you have to
pay.
Well, you gotta. Speed limit was lowered to 25.
5 years ago.
Yeah, something like that, and so now it's 25 miles per hour. And it used to be you had cameras up. You could only have 30 speed cameras in the 5 boroughs active at one time. They were only able to be active between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. school hours, Monday through Friday. So now they still have to be within a mile compass-wise. So not it as the crow flies, a mile of a school. Okay, it's always the law is always going to be tricky about this stuff. You got to be within a mile of a school to have a speed camera, but it could be on 24/7. It can catch you at 3:30 in the morning if you're speeding on a Sunday. So, and it's not about safety. Okay, it's not about safety.
Cha-ching.
It's about the cha-ching,
and it's a city being very desperate.
Right.
revenue.
When I was a cop, when I came on the job and got out of the academy in '97, got on in '96, um, there was a activity requirement or expectation, not
Productivity.
yeah, but it wasn't, it wasn't a quota, but you were supposed to
There
write
were productivity expectations.
patients, yes,
Yeah.
and it was,
Just like in social work.
and
Everything's a business.
it was a parker a day. So if you were on patrol for 20 days, you were a parker a day. Parkers were great; they were guaranteed revenue for the city. They were one criminal court summons that was like public drinking, smoking. Well, possession of marijuana, but it was smoking. It was theoretically a crime, but you usually gave a summons anyway. And then you had a mover per week. But here's the issue: when I came on the job, you brought a mover. That was easy. Brought tail light is out, headlight is out. Um, Defective equipment was great because you could stop the motorist. You could explain to them they had the defective equipment, and you were going to issue them a summons, but they had 24 hours, not including Sundays, to fix it and to bring it to the nearest police precinct within the city. And we would fill it, see it's working. We'd fill out a form, and they
You could rescind it.
and they would send it in. It was corrected.
Oh.
They didn't have to pay. So that was what most cops were doing. But guess what? That meant the city wasn't getting any money. So then, by the time right before I got promoted, so this is around 2000, they're like, oh, half of your summonses can't be correctable, or at least on a precinct level. So no more than half can be correctable. By the time I left patrol, which would be 2004, no more than 10% could be correctable, which means that's why you have so many people in New York City driving around with defective headlights and non-working brake lights and defective tail lights, which are all hazards, but they're not being corrected because you can't write them, or if you do write one, you got to write like 9 red lights to make sure. So, city, they want their money. They want their money. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Tom said you learn stick on a forklift and you can pop a wheelie on a forklift with a heavy load and in reverse. You're scaring me, sir. You're scaring me. All right. I'm trying to catch up here. The gun, yeah, huge reliance on Taiwan for microchips. We need to diversify the supply chain. Yep. And with Tower Games, there used to be a very large gaming story out by 8 Mile called Comic Kingdom or something like that. So we've actually caught up on all the chat.
Nice.
So now that took a bit. Now we can talk about look at this. We're almost 48 minutes in. So Rach, as many of you know, Rach is very active. She's been exercising. She's been trying to do different things. It's a way it's like cross training. She's doing a lot of different things to keep herself active
and to have like
muscle.
A variety of things to do to work this, to work different muscle groups and have more functional like strength and balance and all that good stuff. And so
what did you start
this week? We started to play with boxing.
so
and I
yes,
I was told that I punched like a girl, and I was like, yeah, I know, but you're a girl and you punch. I said to the person who's showing me, I was like, you punch like a confident girl. I want to punch like that. So and kick like that because she kicks too.
Right.
So she started to teach me, and I just couldn't get it. I've only had one incident where I really put hands on anybody and punched them. And I think I just did what I thought I was seeing, and did that. And it had the effect that it was supposed to have. But all these years later,
after third grade, I didn't know how to really throw a punch, either a jab or a what's it from the back?
You got the uppercuts, you got the roundhouse, you got the jabs. So there's some of the basics.
Yeah, very basic.
So
And so, as a yoga person, I'm trying to get it because I'm like, there's more than just your arms at play here. So I'm like, um, okay, so one foot is facing because I do everything on a yoga mat. So like one foot is facing the front of the mat, trying to like confirm, and I'm like, okay, the other foot is at a 45-degree angle, just a step back, and I should be able to like go back and forth, but I didn't know sort of how to be springy. So,
right,
she was like, you have to be more have more of your weight on your toes, and I generally don't have weight on my toes. It's an effort.
right,
So that was one thing to learn, like how to keep it like bouncy, and
right.
you know
You got to keep it light so you
yes,
can
how to
shift and
keep
move.
it light so that you can move around. And that's going to be work for me. But I had to call Eric in so that this way um they could both teach me to punch. Eric had, because we're doing this over Zoom, and so she can only give me like verbal cues.
Right.
Um, and then Eric comes in, and he'd move my body to where it needed to be. He'd put his hand up to
And
uh,
just so you know, folks,
show,
I,
for me to be able to punch it.
right. At most I'm the apprentice. All right. My 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 boxing knowledge, my initial boxing knowledge was in the academy, and they gave us the basic sparring, and then they had us spar, and the first person they had me spar with was a guy who used to fight and win in the New York City Golden Gloves, was the amateur
Aw.
fighting, and guy's last name was Spoto. I swear to God, I was seeing stars, and he was taking it easy on me. You got your headgear on. You're like,
Oh.
I'm just like, so afterwards, I still remember this. They had to swap, and the guy I got teamed up with, he was also like looking like he's got the crap beat out. I'm like, you feeling okay? He's like, oh man, I got my ass beat. All right, how about this? You throw a jab, I'll throw a jab. We'll just we'll make it into like a dance routine because I was really hurting. But the thing is with Rach, Rach is not a violent person.
No.
Okay, and
I talk a lot of shit. I really can.
yeah,
but it's like, some of it's like, yeah, you want to take it physical? It's like, not really. I thought we were doing fine, just talking shit at each other, and just getting
taking it to the
whatever
next.
off. But people, a lot of people don't have that parameter.
Right. I mean, I would say that I am somebody who, in my career, I have used violence as a tool.
Yeah.
Violence was never a means. It was never a way to express myself or to deal with whatever other issues I had going on with me. It was part of the job, but I could generally use it effectively if necessary.
Hmm.
Um, so I could already see what Rachel's issues were because once we got her to use her body in the strikes, because when you're just using your arm as opposed to putting your body into it, you're not getting that extra force. You're not getting your body mass and the major muscle groups really into it.
Yeah. So it's sort of, the punching is sort of like a springing action,
Yes.
which was kind of cool to play with. And so I started to get it. Eric had put his hand out again so
Oh, this was so cute.
that I could, and I was like terrified. I was like kind of holding back because I was like, oh my god, And it's like you think, and I don't think I realized it then, but later I realized this. I was like, I'm afraid, like what if I hit too hard, or what if he misunderstands and thinks I wanted to hurt him, and then
I was like,
he you know,
What
then it's not good.
were you told by me? What were you told by your?
Well, you were both saying he can remove his hand, he can pull back.
I was like,
you
Rach,
know,
Rach, if you
it's
can,
fine. It's gonna be fine.
Rach,
You know, but
turn.
yeah.
I said, turn your ring in, because she was.
Yeah, I said,
she
oh,
did.
I'll turn my ring in, and then I'll.
Yeah, but and then I said, and I tell her, you got to punch through the hand. You're not punching your arm through it, but your hand's got to go. You got to picture your hand going through your fist going through my hand, because it's the only way. If your fist is supposed to just stop at my hand, and it's gonna stop at my hand, it's gonna do shit. And our first couple of blows were, and then she hit me with one. I was like, holy shit, that stung. It didn't hurt, but it stung. And I was like, that was good.
You still punch like a girl.
No, because it meant
or an incompetent girl.
no, because it meant that you were feeling that confidence, you were getting that out there, and then we were able to work on that stuff. I am not an expert at boxing. I will tell you that right now. I am. You put me in a ring, I'm probably going down. I'm 55. Certainly not going to be standing up and taking. But
and then she said, "Oh, well, let's work on some knee strikes." And I was like, "Sure, whatever that is, we'll do it." You know. And I was better at the knee strikes somehow because I could get my back knee to come up and like I was, you know, sort of be like springy and you know pulling the head and doing the knee.
Oh, you're gonna be actually, you know, doing like some dirty street fighting going on there. Like,
you know what? Like melee,
yeah.
Grab the head, boom.
Yes. I took,
and then you do it a front too, just to like disorient them more.
I took a street survival
course,
course
add insult to injury.
Because I was trained in anti-crime, which is plainclothes training. They gave us a 1-day survival course of how to fight in the street, with all things they don't teach you in the academy.
Yeah, because your legs would toe up, so you were like,
I was like, no,
I'm not doing that.
My shins say no. By the way, Mr. Gunn says, don't worry about hitting Tenkar too hard. He needs a good pop in the chops from time to keep him in line. Also, Mr. Gunn, he's been suffering from depression lately. Cannot get motivated to do much. And now listen, we're hitting those temperatures right now. It's getting colder outside. All right. Many people don't do well in cold temperatures. The days are shortening.
Yeah, like I have Hashimoto's. So winter is really hard on me. Like I tend to get fatigued more easily, and I get very cold, you know, which makes me not want to go anywhere or do much. But yeah, since I started doing more movement and stuff, I feel like it's helping with that, you know. I mean, and also I'm stabilized on medication to control,
right?
You know, to create enough to help my hormonal stuff work.
Well, and two, I mean, like you're exercising, so you're getting those endomorphins from the
endorphin. Yeah,
so that's
like I'll finish and be like blah blah blah.
Yeah. So you know, just getting yourself. I mean, that's a problem, right? You're depressed, so you're not motivated. And how do you get yourself motivated to even exercise?
Yeah,
I do.
And depression can come along with so many other illness. You know.
Yeah, I motivate myself because I watch YouTube videos on the TV as I exercise, so it doesn't feel like it's exercise. And by the way,
and we're getting our treadmill so that this way we don't have to miss out on walking in the winter time, and we can keep challenging ourselves with the different workouts, the different exercise, not exercises, but the different. I guess they're workouts, and they go through different like
speed up and whatever.
Or they'll have you adjust the
incline.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom says, here's a 16-ounce coffee mug. I do 1 pound curls at my computer desk. I tried that line. It didn't work.
But you tried it with alcohol at a job, hon.
All right. So I had a chief who she was like, she was putting together a jogging crew and a workout
team workout,
and it was all these ass kissers that just wanted to like kiss ass and and say, "Hey, listen, I work out with the chief, and maybe you should make a phone call for me." And I didn't really care about that shit. So she sees me in the hallway. She's getting her crack team. Hey, Stein, you gonna come running? I'm like, no, Chief. You gonna exercise with us? I go, Chief. Every night, I exercise 16 ounces at a time. I was transferred like a month later. So you gotta know where you place your jokes. That one didn't land too well with me, but in the end, it was worth it.
You got to be true to yourself.
Mr. Gunn says, "Thanks, Rach. He has a bad thyroid too."
Ah, okay.
So, Tammy wants to know what your favorite side dishes for Thanksgiving. I love what historically was my gross mommy's grandma on my father's side, her stuffing.
Should we do that?
Maybe we should.
It's crazy buttery, right?
It's crazy. Oh, it's Rach. What?
And it's like no spice.
No,
But it's like bread and butter.
It's bread and butter squashed down as much as you can.
All right, you slice it. It's a
after you cook
thick
it.
thing.
Yeah, and after it's oh my god.
But you can't put it in a bird, so maybe we don't.
You don't have to put it in a bird. You can cook it up in a bowl, not a bowl, a casserole dish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think.
And yeah, maybe we could do that. But
yeah. Thanksgiving, my carbs are going to be blown out.
I think my favorite thing on this Thanksgiving is the sage stuffing.
See, it's all the stuff that we really shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I should just have the turkey and the vegetables.
Yes, exactly. The turkey and the turnip.
Yeah, but Shadow and Sun, cold weather kicks my butt. All I want to do is eat and sleep.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's me in the summer. maybe it's old age. Oh,
nice. And old age never helps.
Yeah. Listen, I took a 45-minute nap before this show. I was just exhausted. I'm not sure if it was.
I napped only once this week, and I don't usually nap.
Yeah, Rachel.
We did something. Oh, we went down to check out the thing to cater to Thanksgiving, and so we had this meal. Like I had chicken pot pie, and I had his bangers and mash, and I sacked.
Sack out.
My stomach was so heavy, and it was like this yucky, rainy day, totally gray, and I was like, I gotta put my head down.
See, Don's another vote for stuffing, and also corn casserole.
Yeah. Oh.
I've never had corn casserole.
Your sister makes that string bean casserole.
Yeah, she does.
That's good.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
I like that with those onions.
Shadow and Sun, deviled eggs, good rolls, potato skins if we're having baby back ribs.
Oh, that's not quite traditional, but it sounds awesome.
Mr. Gunn, cornbread stuffing.
Cornbread of any sort.
Yes. Cranberry relish, corn pudding, Brussels sprouts. Let's see. Oh, Tammy, our son Zach pressured us and we caved. We are frying the turkey this year.
Ooh, be careful. I hear it's dangerous. You have to have a special setup.
Yeah, usually a garbage pail, not a garbage pail.
A garbage pail? But you can't leave it on the lawn. You have to elevate it on like cinder blocks or something so it doesn't burn it out.
Forget
something
about
like
it.
that, I heard.
Forget about it. Hey, forget about it. In New York, you want a turkey that's fried. I'm sure you can get it at your local bodega. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I still remember when my son's mother was alive, and she'd be like, "Oh, we need to get what was the roasted pig?
The
Pernil, and it's like, so we get this at
right? You mean the roast pork?
The roast pork. But it would
not the pig on the spit, not the lechon.
No. It was the roast pork, but it would be roasted, slow roasted.
Yes.
In holes dug in behind this restaurant in their backyard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was literally roasted in the ground, and I was just like, "Well, that is."
They do that a lot in Mexico. So yeah, I guess traditional Puerto Rican or Dominican. Yeah.
Tammy, glazed carrots are a must.
Mm.
Okay. And glazed carrots, not mine. Baby back ribs are my family's favorite meal, according to Shadow. I can see that.
Mm. That sounds like a fun Thanksgiving.
Oh, corn casserole has cornbread on top of it. That's a win-win.
That sounds great.
I could dig that.
Mm.
Oh, and a double layer pumpkin pie. That's a true must-have. That's Tammy. I'm sorry, Tammy. I'm not a pumpkin pie.
I'm not a big pumpkin spice person.
But I'm not much of a pie eater in general, which is
Maybe apple pie.
maybe if it's not overly sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tammy, if the frying can be dangerous, you can bet I did my homework. Yeah, if anybody did the homework, Tammy, I'm sure it's you.
Oh, yeah.
And Tom's going to supervise the frying, which means he'll be there with his beer.
Lifting.
You keep it going there, Tammy. Yep, looks good. I like the way it looks. You know what? Brussels sprouts, Shadow, if you roast them, I used to hate Brussels sprouts because my mother always boiled them and they had these boiled. Ugh. But we learned to roast them.
From
Coast
something we bought.
We'd have the
from the
chef,
home chef. Yeah.
So we learned, depending on the size, you either half them or you quarter them. Spray them with a little olive oil. Maybe sprinkle a little, I don't know, a little garlic on it, or a little garlic and onion, or maybe a little Italian seasoning, depending on what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then you roast it in the oven. Put some aluminum foil on your sheet to make a nice, easy cleanup. Oh my God! You roast them till they just start turning a little. The edges might turn black in a few of them. Most of them start turning
usually
brown.
Just brownish, and it's nice. And
oh my God, they are delicious. I never thought I'd say that about Brussels sprouts. So
yeah, I never tried them until adulthood. So yeah, and I think I've only had them roasted.
See, you've been lucky, Rach. You've been lucky.
Yeah, I don't think it looked any good if it wasn't, or smelled any good.
Shadow says his family doesn't really like turkey. Ham, that's doable. So we're doing a sliced turkey breast and Irish ham as our main staples for Thanksgiving. We found a place. We found a place. We knew a place. We knew a place that made Irish, foods and sold a lot of the Irish stuff. But we had to see if they were going to be doing catering because we never tried them for catering, and they were going to do it for the holiday. And they were like, yes, but maybe no, because we don't know how many turkeys we're going to get. I was like, oh, geez. So we were already working on backup plans.
Yeah. So when he called on Thursday morning, I was like, I got to call right back.
Tom, pumpkin or squash pie, and I'm all in. All right, so you went from
squash pie.
You went from something I would have put like a 3 to something that I can't even imagine wanting to eat. Sorry, Tom.
Squash in a pie.
Squash in a pie. I don't see that. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe. Oh, yeah. The keto people do zucchini.
Yeah,
with the apple pie spices and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they say it's supposed to be kind of apple-esque.
Apple-esque. Roasted is the only way to go. Boiling them was like eating buttered cabbage. Buttered cabbage would taste better. I'm sorry. I am sure. I've had PA shoe fly pie. Too sweet, like pure sugar. All right. See, when you say shoe fly,
what does that mean?
I have no idea. See, for me, shoe fly was the duty inspector on a midnight or on a late 4 to 12.
Why is that a shoe fly?
Because you would hear on the radio, shoe fly in the confines of the 401, moving to the 403. So he's here. He's in your precinct, or he's in this precinct, and we're telling the next precinct, listen, he's on his way. Shoe fly, because shoe. The fuck
you don't want him in there.
You don't want him out of here. The shoe fly is coming. The shoe fly is coming. How is Irish ham made?
Not quite sure.
We had it at the pub a number of times too.
Yeah, we've had it catered in, but it's not one of those like sugary
Right.
one of those sugary sort of pineapple-y things. It's with like a syrup or anything like that. It's more a little more bland, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe they stick some cloves in it.
Irish like their cloves.
Yeah. I feel like you can taste that a little bit in it.
What is Irish ham? Does it come with side of potatoes, or is it stuffed with clover? Well,
there's always a side of potatoes.
right, but a lot of times, like when we think of ham, we think of a honey ham, or like I said, pineapple and cherry. Like maraschino cherries
and
stuck
it's
in
like
it.
the honey ham with the.
Yeah,
It's almost got like a skin that.
Yeah, that's how my mother would make it. It's not that in a way. It's no, and it's almost, but it's ham, but it kind of cuts almost more like a pork roast. I kind of like it's not like a lot of times when you get ham, ham is almost like processed and the meat's all stuck together and it comes out in those slices. This is little bit looser of meat. It's hard to explain, but we've had it from our old pub, and it went over well. So bacon wrapped. I got at Costco. And by the way, if you're keto,
bacon wrapped anything, I'm with you.
We went to Costco yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" And I was like, "This looks really, really interesting. And maybe I'll make it for our elite dinner tonight. Maybe you won't want to eat it." It is bacon wrapped jalapenos with I think mozzarella cheese on the inside.
No, I think maybe it's a mix of mozzarella and the cream cheese.
It might be a mix of the two. Yeah, mozzarella and cream cheese. I know there's mozz, but there's might be cream cheese in there too. And it's low carb and high fat. Look what we're using here. But bacon wrapped anything. They used to get they would have a broiled or roasted chicken that was wrapped in bacon and stuffed with stuffing at the pub. That was delicious. Oh my God. I'm never going to have that again until I find it at some other place that's probably Irish and puts on the menu. We'll see. And where are you going to withdrawals? Mom always made squash pie just like pumpkin. That's Tom's mother. All right.
Oh, so it became sort of custardy.
And I guess it might have been shoe fly pie, but it's like pure sugar. Oh, boiled Brussels sprouts taste like bitter cabbage. Yes. Yes, it does not. It is not good. Irish ham is sweet ham in my family. It's sweet and burnt. Yeah, there's that. You're right about the burnt part. It's not like it's burnt, but it gets that little bit of a crustiness going to it. Whereas a traditional ham, the American style with the pineapples and the like Rach said, gets like a skin on it. This gets a crispy outer. A little bit. No?
I don't know.
I think so.
I don't remember tasting that, but
shoe fly pie is a molasses pie, kind of chess pie with sugar and cheese pie, I guess, with sugar and eggs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Zach Xander says crust is a must. But man, I'm really thinking about those jalapenos now. Oh, bacon. And I got beer. Bacon and beer. It's too bad beer is not a breakfast food. Then you can have it with your bacon in the morning. Like that. So, one of the things with Thanksgiving that's coming up is, and Rachel's been doing great. We've been going through a lot of our low carb mixes for cakes and cupcakes and brownies. Trying to first off, we haven't been baking in a while, so it kind of gets the dust off our baking skills. But we want to have low carb options for Thanksgiving.
Holidays,
and that's important. We're pretty good at doing the lower carb snacks. It's an option for us, and others can have them too. But we want to make sure we have this stuff rip roaring, ready to go. So everybody likes to do the desserts on these holidays. So what are we doing this one? Brownies?
Yeah, you enjoyed those
Oh,
brownies.
those brownies
so
were delicious.
make those up. I mean, there's cakes. There's cake mix in there too. But I think you like chocolate better than
I
the white cake.
I do like chocolate a lot. Tom, we used to have a place that did bacon infused whiskey.
Whoa.
Ooh, well,
That sounds glorious.
I,
Excuse
that's
me.
probably the only way I'll actually enjoy a scotch, because scotch is already smoky.
I
and
thought you said
bacon.
whiskey.
Whiskey, I'm saying, but I'm thinking whiskey.
Yeah.
Scotch is a type of whiskey,
Yeah, I guess.
and I could see scotch being bacon infused.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't associate bacon and medical together. Scotch always tastes medical to me.
Mr. Guy says just dip your bacon in the whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? You can have like your whiskey and just put a sliver of bacon in it.
Oh, and you can make it very breakfasty by having the cinnamon infused that we have.
Oh, that is true. With the bacon?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And what? And like a little squirt of sugar-free syrup.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, damn! We're possibly getting a keto holiday recipe going. I don't know how wise it would be.
Some alcoholic McGriddles we could make.
Some places, this Tammy made amazing Bloody Marys with a big choice. Help yourself of what to add: bacon, pickles, celery, etc.
Oh,
I would definitely go with the bacon. I've never had a Bloody Mary. I've actually ordered.
my mom used to love that.
I used to have to. There were days when my sergeant would need a little nip of the dog. So it was okay. The Barry Inn opens at 10:30. Gotta make sure I don't suit up. Go over and just go. Hey, I need something for John. Okay, me too.
Right, the tomato is always a big.
Yep, and
help.
It worked. So Tom, they mixed bacon fat and whiskey, left it overnight, and filtered it 7 times through cheesecloth.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, so God. So tonight has flown by. It's already an hour and 20 minutes into this. Holy crap! So we covered my horrendous leg crap. We covered the potential of Rach beating the crap out of me. We honestly, when I heard that snap, when I made a nice little pop, and I felt it, I was like, yes. And Rach's like, did I hurt you? And
are you gonna be coming for me?
Okay. But they closed up shop on a restaurant named Bacon to open a Harry Potter themed restaurant that closed in 6 months. Well, sometimes you try to ride a wave.
Yeah, wow.
It doesn't work, right?
What can I tell you?
But let's see, is there anything else that we should cover? We are going to, the newsletter should be out tomorrow, but there may be a Gamers Health newsletter also out on Wednesday. If Amazon has some good picks for those of us that are trying to get healthy, that's probably not going to be much in the way of food choices. But if they have exercise equipment that Rach and I think are good, we'll make sure we link it and send it out. It'll be a short, no frills newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
But Black Friday is coming up. Black Friday usually kicks off Wednesday, Tuesday. Who the hell knows?
Well, it usually goes Wednesday through Sunday,
and then Cyber Monday,
and then Cyber Monday comes.
So, but we're looking forward to getting a treadmill. So that should be a fun addition to the routine. Because I will say this: it's very easy to get distracted. Okay, stuff comes up, and like all of a sudden you realize you haven't exercised.
Yeah, like today I have to go in and do some.
All right, or you realize you haven't done whatever it was you were supposed to do, editing on a book or writing a blog post, or whatever. Because and the day gets away, and it's not because you fell asleep, and it's not. It's because
Life happens.
life happens, and a lot of times you can just have one event in the back of your head that's just that there's the constant distraction. It's always like you got to find a way to kick past that. I don't have a method to do it besides just pure stubbornness. By the way, Rach is playing with my watch band from my iWatch. She's like, give me a watch. So I actually got a decent third party watch band for my iWatch.
It will set off metal detectors. Though.
Yeah, I learned it on Sunday. Because apparently it actually is made of metal pieces. So, but it actually was pretty comfortable. I'm pretty impressed with it. So can't complain. It was inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
So now, see, I couldn't get it out. You see, it might be a permanent accessory to my watch. You can't get it.
Oh, you were
yet.
trying?
I tried. I couldn't figure out how to do
Hold
it.
up.
So I
Can't
think
be holding something in my other hand.
I think it locks in place. You just can't get it off again. I'm sure it's an angle you got to work on it. Oh, wait, never mind. Rich's powers to disassemble watch bands greatly exceed my poor mind. So, yes, let me catch up with your comments. Xander, I am retired. I'm retired now for 5.5 years. Did 20 years in the NYPD. Rach is recently retired from social work.
No, I was 25 years in social work at different levels.
She done did them all.
Yep.
So, Tammy, my doctor's tip: start a TV series or podcast, and only allow yourself to watch, listen when you're on the treadmill.
Ah.
That works. I mean, when we get the treadmill, I'm gonna want to get my
Yeah, I have a lot of
my 30 minutes a day in, at least. But we're waiting to see. I don't want to buy stuff this week and then see it go down.
and be like, oh,
what could I have bought with another $40? What happened to that? Mothership Kickstarter. I think I'm waiting on that one. I got the Hyperborea Kickstarter in the mail, and they killed my. The post office did a great job destroying the standard player's handbook. So, and like I said, whoever packed that did an amazing job. It looked like an AC -9, AC -10 packing job, and the post office just found a way to get through all that protection.
Mm-hmm.
So,
leave it to the post office.
All right, so we actually cleaned my watch band in the dishwasher, so
it's back to new.
It's back to newish. So, my doctor's tip: go back to work. No. I did my share before I worked as a cop. I did 8.5 years of retail. Policing is for younger people, and there's no money in retail, so I got a good pension. I don't complain. Yeah, 10 minutes a year is pretty good. Distraction when you're working out.
Yes,
is a great way to enable yourself to work out and not feel it.
Yeah, I love having my music on.
Yeah, Mr. Grant, you saw the book. Glenn had me pull it out. I had to walk away and grab it yesterday. Rach was working out last night, by the way, as I was doing that. It's like, I'm dodging Rach. She's on her TRX doing her workout.
Side lunges.
Side lunges. I'm like, sorry, coming through. Like, grab this book.
So you're going to mess my heart rate up.
I'm going to make you leave me around. So, folks, next time we see you, it will be after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Joe will have a lot of Thanksgiving stories
to
talk
can't
about.
Wait to hear those.
I really do appreciate all of you spending your time with us tonight. I know it's a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Younger people are probably out there partying.
Yeah.
We're not younger, so this is hate to,
This is a good alternative.
yes, you know. Mr. Gunn, Rachel, flash dancing, maniac,
Maniac.
for sure. Oh God. Mm. Well, again.
We sing that to Sadie Cat.
Oh, Sadie Cat. She's a Sadie Cat. Sadie Cat for sure. A cat will look at her like, "Are you out of your mind?"
She's in her new place.
Oh, she's in her new hiding chair.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don. Again, I really, if you want to know what makes Rach and I happy, honestly, it's doing this and sharing this time with our friends, our extended family, our community, and I don't think of anything I'd rather be doing on a night like this. That's why we do this every week. You know, we'll probably miss one, Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, we might not be home in time to do it. You know,
Oh, we will.
home by 8:00.
Yeah, because listen, we're gonna go probably earlier because it's a Saturday.
Because they almost got killed last year trying after parking
That too.
and getting run down.
Because we want to be able to get parking. You know,
All right,
so
well,
we'll go over there earlier,
well,
and then they'll feed. You know, we'll do.
We'll know better as Christmas Eve comes up. I don't hold anybody to any obligation to show up and be with us live. But again, I thank you all. You make this a fun time for us. You can see I'm still energized.
Thank you guys so much for
thank you
being
all
here and sharing yourselves with us.
So we'll be back next week. Tomorrow I'll have some random gaming video up. Maybe something about Woods of the Coast. Who knows? they've been in the news lately. Go figure.
On many fronts.
And many fronts. Hasbro. Marsha. All right, folks. As usual, we're in the endemic. You know what it comes down to? Common sense. Please. If you've been watching this live stream, I assume you have common sense.
Yeah.
Use it. Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will see some of you all tomorrow. Later, folks.
Take good care.